Hi everybody. All right, today I am processing broccoli, which sounds crazy, but here's the backstory. I went into the big town to get some inexpensive food. So I got chicken and I got beef and I got potatoes and onions and flour and sugar and all the essentials, trying to get a good deal because I cannot get a good deal here in my small town, and B, I'm trying to get a little bit prepared for the coming. I'm expecting gas prices to go up at this point, and I want to have a little bit of food security. So this is my food security moment. We go through a ton of broccoli. We eat broccoli 2 or 3 times a week. And so this was a good one to splurge on. This was a good one to buy a lot of. However, it came in a pack of 20 pounds, and we're not going to go through 20 pounds. So the plan is we're going to boil it, flash cool it, dry it, and freeze it in bags. So bags are what we have. We have Ziploc bags, so this is how we're going to do it. If you have like a vacuum sealer, that'd probably be way better, but I do not have a vacuum sealer. So I'm going to use what I have. I can't believe I'm doing this video and I cannot remember what it's called to flash boil something. I said it just earlier today. It's not parboiled. There's a word. Oh well, maybe I'll figure it out. I'm sure all of you know it anyways. So here we go. We've got 20 pounds of broccoli. I'm going to show you what 20 pounds of broccoli looks like. This is a colander full of broccoli. This one, because I've already processed it initially. So these are all washed and cut. And I stored it in the freezer, or not freezer, the refrigerator, because I didn't have time to deal with it. This is actually a really big bowl. And then that wouldn't all fit in my fridge the way it was, so there's a little bag here. And finally, I have one more bag. This is not washed and cut. This is about what we will use in a couple weeks. So this is just going in the fridge, just like this. We're not going to process it, but I did want to have it out so I could show you guys what 20 pounds of broccoli looks like. So to start with, I'm going to put this back in the fridge. Now, in addition to that, I have back here a pot of water on the stove, and it just started coming to a roiling boil. And I also have a pot of cold water in the sink. And honestly, I really should add some ice to it. Well, it would take a while, so it's cold water. It'll be fine, I think. And then I also have lined sheets. A couple lined sheets because these are going to have to be flash frozen. So yeah, let's get started. First, I'm going to use the colander one because I'm going to need this colander. So I'm going to dump some of it out. And we're just going to go dump this in the boiling water. Alrighty, that is round one. You're going to leave it in the boiling water to boil for 2 minutes, you know, approximately. So I'm just going to chat here for a second. Let it boil. And then I'm going to come over and strain it into the cold water. But I want to save the hot water, so I'm actually going to strain it into this pot, like that. I think that's the move. I'll let you know how it works. So it's still boiling. Again, just real quick. Is it called parboil? Blanch! It's called blanching. Oh, perimenopause ain't got nothing on me. Anyways, it is blanching. You don't want to cook it too long, but you do want to cook it long enough so that when you freeze it, when you defrost it, after you freeze it, it still tastes good. So, something like that. I guess you can't freeze raw vegetables, or at least not all raw vegetables. I think that's been long enough. Nope, it hasn't. So here's the deal. First, this particular video is a multifaceted reason why I'm showing you. First of all, I think it's very important for us to all be able to preserve our own food. And for if you're going to be preserving it from the garden, or if you're going to be preserving it like I did from a big grocery haul to save money, then this is important. Second, I want to time myself to see how long it actually takes to do this process, because I want to see how that, well, it's for my own fun, really, because I want to see how that correlates with how much money I saved. So we'll go over the math as I'm doing this whole process. I'm hoping it won't take too long, though, because I have to leave this house in less than an hour, and I've got a lot of stuff I have to do besides just the broccoli. So I might be overextending myself, but that's just how it goes. If I have to stop halfway through, I have to stop halfway through, and that's fine. Then you guys will at least see how it's done, and I'll have a little bit more room in the fridge. This will hold it down. So I just use that to push the broccoli down. It looks like it's mostly done now. So I'm just gonna dump it out, and like I said before, I'm gonna try to save the boiling water. So I'm just gonna pour this in here, save the hot water, and then dump the broccoli immediately into cold water. I'm shaking it a little bit to get most of the hot water out so that it cools more immediately. And that was 3 rounds of broccoli dumping. In case anybody cares how many rounds of broccoli dumping you'll be doing. Then, oh yeah, that is hot. Then we're going to pour the water back in the pot to save it. Oops. We're going to reheat that water, bring that back up to boiling, and then I'm going to add some more cold water to this broccoli. Because that wasn't That wasn't very cold. I stuck my hand in there and it was warm already. So there we go. I think I am going to pour some ice in it. Next, if you guys are doing this at home, definitely get an ice water bath, not just a cold water bath, because that heated up really fast. So now I'm going to strain those broccoli again, getting them out of the cold water, and I'm immediately going to put them on a clean towel. Because it's gonna have to dry before it goes in the fridge, or at least a little bit. So there, I'm getting my towel spread out. There we go. I can hear my water starting to, it's coming to a simmer already. Should be a boil really quick. Okay. So, I'm gonna take my blanched broccoli, cooled, and I'm just gonna dump it out right here onto the towels. Okay, so you can, and normally I would use that extra water that I'm draining off because it's not cold enough anymore. I would just use it to go water my plants outside. I would just go dump it outside so as to not waste water. But for expediency and for sake of this video, I'm not going to do that. If I had a bucket here, if I was thinking I could just dump it in a bucket. But my preparations were not ideal today. So next. So I'm just gonna dump this out in the sink and waste a whole pot of water. And then I'm gonna fill up this pot once again with very cold water. And I'm going to check the pot in the back and see how the water's coming with the boiling. It is boiling. So that was actually really fast. So I'm going to dump these two in. Yes, this isn't done yet. This was the leftover from the colander from earlier, and then this is the other bag. So these are just going to go right in the pot. Just like the first time. I'm going to save this bag for my next project. You know, because that's what we do. And then wait for this to boil. Long enough. We're gonna give it, I don't know, about the same time as last time, but maybe a little bit less because these might have been a little too boiled, which it'll be fine. It'll actually, I think it'll be great. It'll just mean that when something's burning over there, that when I defrost them to cook with later, they'll be, you know, nice and cool. I mean, nice and quick to cook because they'll already be kind of cooked. So let's talk money. This was 20 pounds of broccoli, and it cost $20. So that's $1 a pound. It was a little bit less, but we round around here. So $20 for 20 pounds, $1 a pound. At the local grocery store at that time, which was several days ago, I found broccoli at the grocery store for like $3.39. That was excessive. It's normally not that expensive, and in fact, this morning for this video, I went and checked to see how much it was today, so I could give you a real price. So it was $1.99 a pound. So it was $2 a pound. So for 20 pounds at $2 a pound, that would have been $40. And at $3 a pound, that would have been $60. So 20 for this, 40 for the price that it's at currently, and 60 for the price it was several days ago at the local grocery store. I am, as far as time is concerned, I am not counting the time that I chopped and washed the broccoli a couple of days ago, because I would have had to chop and wash broccoli anyways in preparation for whatever meal I'm cooking, so I don't care about that. This is an entirely different situation where I am storing this for long-term storage in the freezer. So this is the time that I want to count towards my, like, how much I actually saved. I'm going to tell you, it's probably time to do this. Yeah, they look good. It is probably not going to be a huge savings per hour. You get your hourly wages. And I am going to do that at the end of the video, show you the savings per hour. So same thing as before. I'm saving the hot water to limit how much time it spends on the stove. And I'm draining the broccoli and throwing it right in my not icy ice bath. And then I'm going to save the water and pour it back in. Throw it back on the stove. Okay. This round actually cooled off quicker, and I think it's because I had more, well, it is because I had more very cold water in the pot. Originally, it's a pot about, I don't know, about this big, but originally I only had it halfway full. This time it's maybe 3/4 of the way full. It cooled off much quicker, so I'm going to dump that and come back and chat with you some more. Okay. So, and then I'm going to fill up the cold water side. And again, if you guys have extra pots, there's a better system you could do than this. Or if you use ice, you know, maybe you could use it 2 times in a row. An ice bath and then a cold water bath. I actually hate wasting water like this, but it's what it is. The pot on the stove is not yet boiling. So, So that was 1 colander and 1 bag of broccoli. So we're about, I would say, about 1/3 of the way done. Maybe a quarter of the way done. And we've been doing this for 20 minutes. Now there was a lot of talking initially, so I'm going to say it's going to take about an hour to do all this broccoli. It's now boiling. I'm going to dump this guy in here. Looking at this pile, and the size of my pans, and I'm thinking this is definitely going to have to be the last one I do, and I'll have to do the rest of this another time. Okay. Because these are all going to go on these sheet pans. The sheet pans are going to go in the freezer, and it's going to get frozen on a, on a flat surface before I put them in bags. So this is all I can do for now because I only have 2 flat pans. If you have more sheet pans than 2, obviously you can do more. Those are boiling, so we're going to give it a few more minutes. Let's talk money again. So I was bragging. This is obviously not the only savings I got from that whole trip to the big city the other day. But I was bragging to my son about how I saved $40 because it was normally $3 something at the grocery store a pound, and this was only $1 a pound. And he was like, "Wow." At first when I first told him, and then I said, so that was a savings of $40. And he goes, "Oh, that's some good girl math." And I was like, "What do you mean girl math? That is literally $40 of savings." Actually, it was more than $40 of savings because it was $3.39 a pound at the grocery store. And so I saved even more than $40. I rounded down. And he goes, "Well, but you spent $20, right?" I was like, "Well, yeah." And he goes, "So you didn't actually save any money?" I was like, "Is that what girl math is?" I had no idea what girl math was. I actually think that that's grown-up math, not girl math. My kid is a grown-up. He's 18, but he still lives with me. He has not yet had to go out and buy his own broccoli. So because it's something that you have to buy anyways, we're definitely saving the money. But I thought it was really funny, and now I know what girl math is. I did a lot of girl math that day. I spent $500 at the one store. It was more than the one store though, and I think I saved. I think had I gotten it at the local grocery store, it would have been triple that. So it would have been like $1,500 of groceries that I bought. So I saved $1,000. And that's at today's prices at the end of the summer. Oh, who knows? It might be even more at the grocery store. Anyways, I just thought, I think I'm going to change girl math to grown-up math. So that's a new term now, guys. This is grown-up math. Or grocery math. Because, but it could be for anything. If it's something like wood that you're, piling up on. I don't know. cat food, cleaning supplies. It's not quite ready yet, but I'll tell you what is ready. I can start loading up broccoli on these trays. I do want to show you guys how much broccoli is actually here. So hopefully I don't mess up this, but this is my hand for reference sake. And I do have a big hand, so, but this is a huge pile of broccoli that we've already gotten done. It's fine. Well, it's a little crooked now, isn't it? Okay, there. So, hopefully you guys get to see that. It is now ready. Ooh. Same thing here. Just like before. Okay. I'm just gonna let that drain in there while I finish this up. Because I need to make room on these towels. So, it's 27 minutes and 28 seconds that we spent on this so far. I am almost, I would say I'm more than halfway done, because all I have is this big bowl left to do, and then some bagging. The bagging's not going to take very long. I'll probably make a video out of that too. So I would say that's about an hour's worth of work that we have left to do. I'm just making this as even as possible. It doesn't matter if they're touching each other. There are going to be clumps. It's just you trying to make it as, you know, as individual as you can without going crazy. And then it also doesn't have to be lined. I like it lined so that way I don't have to wash anything. And then you can just like pull up the lining, and it's, you know, it's more consolidated that way. You don't have to like scrape it off if it accidentally gets frozen to your pan, which can happen. So there's one pan. And I'll just show off my pan. Look at that whole pan of broccoli. Another pan. So that's an hour. And I'm gonna say, because I either saved $20 or I saved $40. Why don't we split the difference? And we can call it 30. I saved 30 bucks. And I'm going to have an hour's worth of work. I am not counting the drive to the big city because there's so much else that I did in the city. So it was a chore combined day. Kind of, it was like all the prepper stuff that I was supposed to get. That I wanted to get. And there was a whole bunch of, like I said, $1,500 worth of savings just at that one store. I also went to other stores. So, So I'm not counting that time. But you could figure out the percentage if you wanted to. I have a feeling even if you did that, it would be like $1. Is that it? That's it. So there you go. That is $30 worth of savings. All in all, it's going to take an hour and I'm going to say an hour and 10 minutes of my time. We just call it an hour of my time because I'm also recording this. So that took up some time too. So an hour's worth of time for 30 bucks. I didn't have to go to work. I did it all at home besides the shopping. So I'm going to say 30 bucks an hour. Heck yeah. I'll take that any day of the week. Anything else? I don't think so. I got a bunch of other stuff to do. So I'll see you guys later.